Hare Krishna. Welcome to all the devotees in today's session of the Secrets of Bhagavad Gita. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So today we are going to discuss Bhagavad Gita chapter 1, text number 42 and 43. So let us start. 42. दोषैरेतैः कुलघ्नानां वर्णसङ्करकारकैः उत्साद्यन्ते जातिधर्माः कुलधर्माश्च शाश्वताः. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Translation. By the evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition and thus give rise to unwanted children, all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated. Purport. Community projects for the four orders of human society, combined with family welfare activities, as they are set forth by the institution of Sanatan Dharma or Varnashram Dharma, are designed to enable the human being to attain his ultimate salvation. Now, here we have come across two two words which are very important. One is community projects, and another one is family welfare activities. So, what are these community projects? In Sanskrit, community projects are called Jati Dharmaha. So, this Jati Dharma basically means it's Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. So, dharma pertaining to these four varnas are called Jati Dharmaha. Okay, there is some issue here. Let me see. Sorry for the disturbance. Maybe I can change the internet. Okay. Okay, let us continue. So, uh, community projects are basically referred to uh, Jati Dharma. Jati Dharma means is dharma pertaining to the four varnas, mainly Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. So, by killing superiors on in Mahabharata war, Arjuna was worried that because of lack of guidance from superiors, there will be lack of following in Jati Dharma because uh, elders of the family members they guide their juniors in following dharma. So, in the absence of such seniors or elderly members, there will be slack in following jati dharma. So that's also applicable today's society. So whatever uh, amount of dharma we were following or was found in our family lineage, nowadays we don't see that much in practice because of the lack of training from our elders. Elders are no more, or our uh, senior members of the family are also scattered everywhere. So that is the disadvantage of a joint family. So first thing, to get such a trained elders in our family lineage or in our society, that's very rare thing nowadays. Besides that, even if we do have such elders, uh, due to the nuclear family culture, somehow that we are not able to get guidance from them. And that's a very sad situation of the society, where uh, there is no awareness regarding following dharma. So Arjuna is thinking deeply about how to protect this jati dharma. So this jati dharma is community projects. So when Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra perform their uh, respective tasks properly, being guided by their own superiors, then only there could be peace and prosperity in our society. Otherwise, uh, the junior members of the family, they may not understand, or they may not even know how to follow dharma, even though such guidance is available in text. But uh, dharma is not established in society just by preaching about it. We have to follow it and show the examples. So this is the method how dharma gets established in the society. And therefore, many times I clearly mentioned in my speech that we have to become the examples. We have to show the ideal examples of dharma. Only by being examples we can really uh, create impact in the society. I think there is some network issue again. Okay, sorry for the disturbance. What to do? I'm helpless here. Let us see how it goes. So just by hearing about dharma or preaching about dharma will not work effectively. We must have such good examples in our society, in terms of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. That includes the dharma as well. So by seeing such examples, uh, the juniors will be motivated and they will be guided and protected uh, in their lives. So that's about Jati Dharma or community projects. The other word was Kula Dharma. So the other day we discussed that Kula Dharma means the family traditions, family welfare activities uh, that have been followed in our particular family lineage by our forefathers, and we are supposed to carry on those particular family traditions so that dharma can be protected in different ways. So dharma is a very subtle thing, and sometimes it may not be appealing to many of us, how just by following some rituals dharma can be protected. This could be a doubt for some devotees. However, uh, we are not supposed to doubt these rituals because they have been prescribed by Shastra. Because the Kula Dharma and Jati Dharma, they have been given in Shastras or followed by people who followed Shastra. So they are all uh, the sources of Dharma. In Manu Samhita, there are four ways we can get the knowledge of Dharma. So one is Veda, and another one is Smriti, Smriti Grantha, Dharma Shastras, like Manu Samhita, Yajnavalkya Smriti, and so on. The third one is sadachara, the conduct of cultured people who are followers of Vedas. So that is also a source of knowledge regarding dharma. And the fourth one is Atmana Tushti. Atmana Tushti means the pleasure of a cultured person who follows Veda or who knows Veda. So, particularly here, we are discussing about the Sadachara practices or the family traditions. So, that is also a legitimate source of knowing Dharma. So, just by following these practices, indirectly we are imbibing the subtle aspects of Dharma. So, we may not know the reasoning behind that, why we are supposed to do these particular rituals, but that will come. That will be the effect of dharma will be visible in such rituals. And of course, it's not just about rituals, but we are following dharma in the so many other ways. So rituals plus shastra understanding both help us to imbibe dharma in our life. So just preaching is not enough, or just uh, hearing about dharma is not enough. We also need some structure, and that structure is these rituals, these family traditions. So that's about kula dharma. So we should have jati dharma and kula dharma both, along with preaching about dharma. Continuing on, therefore, the breaking of the Sanatan Dharma tradition by irresponsible leaders of society brings about chaos in that society, and consequently, people forget the aim of life, Vishnu. Such leaders are called blind, and persons who follow such leaders are sure to be led into chaos. So, indirectly, Arjuna wants to point out to Lord Shri Krishna that if I fight with my superiors just for the sake of some kingdom, then eventually I will be taking part in sin, and I will be the cause of disrupting the Jati Dharma and Kula Dharma, community projects, and these family traditions. So I will be considered an irresponsible leader. And what would be the outcome of being irresponsible? There will be chaos in the society, because the whole system of peace and prosperity will be disturbed. So Arjuna is framing his argument on these grounds. So, in one sense, it is a very legitimate reasoning from Arjuna that one should not indulge into war just for insignificant things. Uh, However, Lord Shri Krishna had some different plan for Arjuna, in fact, for whole human society. So, at the end, we see that Lord Shri Krishna assures Arjuna that don't be worried, Ma Shachuha. I will take the burden of sins on me, and I want you to fight for me. So, when Arjun gets convinced by these words of Lord Shri Krishna that, okay, I don't have to worry about sins, because ultimately, Lord Shri Krishna, who is the supreme personality of Godhead, who has created this world, he has taken charge of this Mahabharata war, and uh, he wants that war. So I just have to be an instrument. So I do have some concerns, but my concerns will be answered by Lord Shri Krishna by his divine arrangement. So when God decides something, then there is no need of questioning, because God is always good, and He's pure. He's supremely pure. Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram Paramam Bhama. So whatever Lord Shri Krishna decides, that is pure and for the benefit of everyone, because he intervenes in that particular activity. Otherwise, in general, fighting for insignificant cause is sin or madness. So, it is always discouraged to wage war against anyone just for such insignificant gain. But In Mahabharata war, Lord Shri Krishna had his intervention, his divine intervention. So it made sense to fight uh, with one's superiors, because it was Krishna who wanted that war at any cost. And the reason was obviously pure, and the result, sorry, the purpose was pure, and the result was going to be pure, because it was decided by the purest personality of God, Lord Shri Krishna. So that's understanding we should always keep in our mind while studying Bhagavad Gita. uh, Now we'll discuss text number 43. उत्सन्नकुलधर्माणां मनुष्याणां जनार्दन नरके नियतं वासो भवतीत्यनुशुश्रुम. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Translation: O Krishna, mentioner of the people, I have heard by disciplic succession that those whose family traditions are destroyed dwell always in hell. Purport: Arjuna bases his argument not on his own personal experience, but on what he has heard from the authorities. It's a very important statement here. So Arjuna does argue with Lord Shri Krishna, but his argument was not based on his own perception. Many times we give our opinions about something, and in most of the cases, uh, it is a subjective opinion, because we feel like that. It's our personal perception. This is how we perceive some things. But here, Arjuna is not giving his opinion out of his own individual perception. He is basing his argument based on what he has heard from the higher authorities, basically from Shastra, or from cultured people or Sadachari people. So uh, that's why his arguments uh, make sense, and we'll see later how Lord Shri Krishna would answer those arguments. Otherwise, uh, Lord Shri Krishna could have immediately rejected his arguments, or he should have chastised him for speaking such insane words. But these words are not insane. These are legitimate concerns of Arjuna, of or any responsible person. Continuing, one cannot reach the real point of actual knowledge without being helped by the right person who is already established in that knowledge. So, to gain knowledge, there is a process to uh, understand it and imbibe it in our life, and we call it parampara, or through disciplic succession. We receive this knowledge. There is no such thing as um buying this knowledge, purchasing this knowledge in any way, or some other mugging up this knowledge. These such things do not exist in Vedic culture. Whenever we talk about uh, receiving knowledge, it is always about uh, receiving the knowledge from the parampara, and we do not receive that knowledge on our own capacity. We receive that knowledge only by the uh, sanction of the higher authorities. Only when they are pleased, they can impart that knowledge to us. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. So only when our higher authorities, or uh, our gurus, when they are pleased with us, with our behavior, with our jijnasa, only then they will decide to impart that divine knowledge to us. Basically, knowledge means a revealed knowledge. It is not something that we can have a right over knowledge. Nowadays, uh, we have a very restricted definition of knowledge, because somehow that we can get some material knowledge from here and there through AI, or some artificial means. We can read from the textbooks or get some YouTube videos and get to know about something, but that is not actual knowledge. That's about some material knowledge, and that's also imperfect because the process is um unnatural. Here we are talking about uh, perfect knowledge, spiritual knowledge, that also includes material knowledge about the well-being of this society, but that has to be received from the higher authorities in a very submissive way. So because that is the system Lord Shri Krishna has established in the society. So we can't just get this knowledge by paying someone. That is always discouraged. You pay some money and you get some knowledge. It's not something, bargaining business here. That I will give you this much, so give me little this much. So such things do not exist in terms of Vedic knowledge. So for in today's society, sometimes we do such kind of business transaction in receiving or gaining some material knowledge, but that is not the proper method for gaining any knowledge, whether it is material or spiritual. Continuing, there is a system in the Varnashram institution by which, before death, one has to undergo the process of atonement for his sinful activities. One who is always engaged in sinful activities must utilize the process of atonement, called prayaschitta. Very important point here. Without doing so, one surely will be transferred to hellish planets to undergo miserable lives as a result of sinful activities. So, life is complex, and it it may be that without even our own will, sometimes may get uh, entangled into some sinful activities. So, to get rid of such sinful reaction, there is a system called prayaschitta in Vedic culture, or in Vedic scriptures. So, just by this prayaschitta, or the process of atonement, we can nullify our uh, sinful activities or sinful reactions. So, for example, uh, somebody drinks a wine, he consumes alcohol. So, for cultured people to drink alcohol is considered a sin. So, apart from the yajna avshishta, so in yajna also we are supposed to offer sura to the demigods, and only as a avshishta, or only as a leftover, we can consume that particular sura. Of course, in Kali Yuga that is also forbidden, and for Brahmana it is always forbidden. But apart from yajna, consumption of any alcohol is forbidden. It is considered a sin. But suppose if he happens to drink alcohol, then he is supposed to perform some activity as an atonement. So, for example, he may have to give some charity, or he may uh, have to perform some tapasya, some austerity. So, ju- just by performing these activities of atonement, he can be freed from those karmic reactions. Otherwise, as Prabhupada mentions here, and it is mentioned in the Shastra, that those who do not perform atonement, they go to uh, hellish species or hellish planets. Both are applicable. So, depending on the gravity of the sin, when one may be degraded to either hellish species or hellish planets, and we may try to just ignore it because we don't see hell or anything like that, but that's a system. That's a system given in the scriptures, that for these particular sins you will be punished in hell. So sometimes this concept is very interesting, and some people take interest in such uh, activities, and some so-called rationalists, they outrightly ignore such description, considering them as something mythological, that is, it does not really exist, because we can't see them. We don't see Yamdutas, we don't see hellish planets. So these people should realize that reality is not what we can perceive. Reality is what factually exists. We can't uh, judge we can't judge reality based on our own sense perception. If we try to do that, then actually we can't perceive so many things. We can't see stars right now, but that does not mean there are no stars in the sky. There is moon in the sky right now, but you can't see it. So there are so many things that we do not perceive. So just by making ourselves as the uh, reference point, we cannot make any correct judgment. So the same thing applies to hellish planets. So even if you deny that there is no such hellish planets, who cares for you? uh, Lord Shri Krishna has arranged this system of hell and heaven. So those who have pious traits, they will go to heavens or Swarga, and those who have uh, sinful activities, who commit sins, they they are welcome in hellish planets, and they are punished heavily by the Yamadutas. And if some of you are interested, then you can see some interesting YouTube videos where people report that they have seen fierce guys like Yamudutas, and they carried them to some planet, and they talk with them, they punish them, and somehow other they release them. So there are many such interesting cases for us to get some hint about it. So there is a system of hell and heaven. So let's not doubt about it, because uh, the knowledge about hellish planets or heavenly planets, it all comes from the Guru Parampara, and these are the uh, persons who have no other motivation than uh, benefiting the society. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya. So that is their spirit. So why would they tell us lie? Sometimes people argue that oh, it's maybe just to refrain, to make someone refrain from something. They have made these imaginary stories, but that is not the point. There are many ways we can convince people. So, and what about the mature people? Maybe for kids it may work, but for elderly people, those are mature people. Why we need such imaginary stories? So it does not really make sense to conclude like that. So in essence, there are uh, reality is beyond our perception, and through divine sources we do know, uh, to get the glimpse of the reality. And another point is that why to commit sins when we have so many other many good things to do in our society? At least those rationalists should be satisfied with this idea that we already have so many good things. Why we need to harm others, or um, disturb any living beings just for our own sense pleasure. It does not really make sense. If you are important, the other people are also important. Why do you make that discrimination? So, in any way, indulging in sinful habits is not at all good. Nowadays, we see people, killing so many innocent animals just for the satisfaction of tongue, and they get indulged into many illegal sexual habits, and that only uh, harms the body, harms physical health, it harms mental health, and also it creates such unwanted progeny. And sometimes they kill such progeny in the womb. So it's all selfish behavior. We see uh, once we take the path of sin. So committing sin does not make sense any any sense. So let us stop it and think about the positive uh, deeds which we can always think about and aspire for to make our society more and more happy and healthy. Okay, so I will stop here for now. If there is some question, we can take. You like the pro? Or if there are no questions, then we
Yes.
can conclude here.
Pranam Prabhuji,
Yes, pro.
there is a question. So, what activities or what processes are involved in Prayaschitta? Devotional activities, are they sufficient for Prayaschitta or something else is required?
For devotees, it's a detailed prashchita may not be required. Of course, it's a very complicated subject matter. Which prashchitas are applicable for Vaishnavas, pure Vaishnavas, and which prashchita are not applicable to devotees or Vaishnavas. That's also a very complicated subject matter. But one thing is for sure that those who are uh, following the pure devotional path, it is unlikely that they will commit some sinful activity. If they are sincere enough, then they will not even think about committing sinful activities, let alone doing it. So that will be the result of following pure devotional path. But it is also a fact that even if we may not desire, atakena prayukto yam, that verse is there in Bhagavad Gita, papam chariti purusha, baladeva niyojita. So sometimes devotees also get propelled by the past sinful desires, we call this vasanas, and unwillingly they commit some sinful activities. So it may be there. So definitely there are some activities prescribed for Vaishnavas and for all rest of the human society. So the basic prayashita is that to understand that we had done something wrong and take a sankalpa to not repeat it. That's a first understanding of prayashita. And for Vaishnavas, if you don't know what kind of prashita I can take, at least we can take the prashita of chanting the holy names more and praying to Vaishnavas, serving Vaishnavas. That's the devotional prashita which we can think of. Definitely for Vaishnavas also there are some prashchita that can be performed, but we have to see the case by case basis that for particular case which atonement is applicable for Vaishnavas. So it's a detailed subject matter. It may not be possible to discuss everything here because traditionally there used to be bhattacharyas. So Bhattacharyas are particularly appointed for awarding this prayaschitta. So any cultured person from the society, if he thinks that he has done something wrong, then he would go to Bhattacharya and the Bhattacharya will give him some prashchitta according to Shastra, and then the person will perform that prashchitta. For example, uh, consuming some particular like gomutra, or and eating some very simple food, fasting on some days, or or for some so many days. That is also prashchitta. It depends on the gravity of the sin. If the sin is less, then there is a small prashchitta. If the sin is higher, then there is elaborate procedure for atonement. So we have to see case by case. So, but definitely Vaishnavas, because they are also human being, so they also must go through the process of atonement. Uh, Sometimes we think that process of atonement is not applicable to Vaishnavas. I don't think that's a correct understanding, because they may not be subjected to ordinary atonement, but definitely they must be subjected to some atonement. At least that is the conclusion we should all agree, that them Vaishnavas also abide by some atonement. There should be some repentance that I had done something wrong, so I must do something to repay it. If we cannot repay it, at least the very act of atonement will purify us. For example, if I had somebody has stolen something, somebody has stolen something from someone, so so and he realized that he has done something wrong, so now he should return that thing back, and then he should try to serve that Vaishnavas or do something uh, so that uh, that will remind him for future. So uh, basically the idea behind atonement is that you should understand that you had done something wrong, and take the sankalpa to not do it again, and do something good also. So first is a recognition of our sin. Another thing is sankalpa to not do it again, and third one is to do something good. So it's just negating sinful activities is not the solution. That's why atonement does not just uh, aim at getting rid of the sinful reaction, but actually getting rid of the mentality of committing sin. So that is also a part of atonement. So I think this much I can say on this issue. Everyone must go through atonement, some sort of atonement, whether it is Vaishnava or not Vaishnavas. But atonement should be there. Okay, bro. Anything else? Okay, we shall stop here. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining the class. श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. Hare Krishna.
Like